morning, afternoon, and evening from wherever you are tuning in. Thank you for attending CCN's fourth webinar in our series. I've been in previous webinars, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joseph, and I have the pleasure of being the moderator. Just a quick little introduction. I've been in crypto for about 3 to 4 years now, doing all sorts of different mining and helping out Computecoin. I'm very excited for this demo to show you what the product team has been working on and how we will start to transition from Dome A to Huygens. So this is a pretty big milestone for Computecoin network. Alongside me in this webinar is our previous guest, John Payne. John works closely with the marketing team and performs some market research here at Computecoin. John and I will be working together to present this workshop and show the progress Computecoin has made over the past couple of months. So let's get started. Introduction to CCN. So what is CCN? It's a great question. Some of you have heard this before. As stated, Computecoin is a DAG-based that uses patented technology to aggregate computing resources. The computing resources are provided by our very own miners in our network, or provided from other ecosystems. Ale Wallet is our native Web3 wallet used to participate in our ecosystem. It is now on Android, iOS, and browser extensions. So you may be wondering how CCN does aggregate these computing resources. So we use a varying of different technicalities and technologies. But the most important part is we use our mining, in which we have two different mining. We have our CCN Mini and our CCN Pro, which we'll go into a little overview of how those work more later. We also have previous webinars explaining the functionalities between the two of these options in order to join Computecoin. Computecoin has the vision to become the next generation infrastructure that powers all-purpose Web3 and metaverse applications. So what does this mean? I think it's important to focus on the visual on the right here, right? This solution. Okay. So we have a couple of issues with today's infrastructure in what our Web 1 and Web 2 world is ran on. So for any of you who watched the American Super Bowl, the Coinbase ad was a successful ad, right? QR code, you scan it. However, the issue was that the Web 1, Web 2, and AWS and cloud infrastructure was unable to support the amount of traffic going to the website at that specific time. As a matter of fact, the website was down for quite some time. So these are some of the issues, and Computecoin has the vision to become the solution. So 20 years ago, what AWS started to build this cloud for others to use and for AWS to use, CCN is now building that cloud today for Web3 and the metaverse as it gets built out over these next couple of years. CCN understands the transition and the paradigm shift to Web3 and AWS's and other cloud infrastructures, current cloud infrastructures, inability to support Web3 in the metaverse. So a little bit of research has been done in a majority of crypto infrastructure, right? You go to a website, okay? Typically that is ran on AWS, right? It's time for that to change. We want that in decentralized hands, no longer in centralized hands. In this, we could see in this visual, right, the kind of smaller Web 1, Web 2 in the AWS below that infrastructure, and we could see the transition, obviously via that line, our Web 3 and metaverse, which is bigger, including Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3, and Computecoin wants to become that lower infrastructure and that bedrock. So CCN aims to combat that by becoming the foundation for the Web3 applications, in which we are already ahead of the curve in being the leader in this domain, to store data, compute, and run apps in a cheap, efficient, and decentralized way. This is wildly different from the internet we see today, and an exciting vision for miners to be a part of. But in order to have that decentralized ecosystem, right, we must achieve this worldwide consensus, okay? The vast majority of Web3 application and metaverse games today are ran on AWS, but CCN believes decentralized computing and storage power are the foundation for Web 3.0 and metaverse applications. Our team has successfully deployed our wallet as said, right? And in this wallet, Ale wallet is used very heavily in Huygens. So it's important to have that installed, updated, and know how to use it, right? Very similar to MetaMask. However, I will say it is a little better and easier to use than MetaMask, although I might be biased, but give it a shot and see how it works. It's very, very seamless. Within 3 months, we were able to achieve 50,000 plus downloads. We were able to achieve 50,000 plus downloads, which is a impressive milestones. And Dome A was able to achieve very, very, very good milestones, right? With over 100,000 plus mining nodes from 21 countries, which is the equivalent to 4,000 petabytes of storage space or 200,000 NVIDIA 3080 mining cards. This is a milestone I hope more miners are ready to join our second testnet Huygens and token holders who may also participate in mining by providing collateral via our collateral marketplace. So this allows our token holders and mining machines to participate in this ever-growing consensus. I will now be passing the stage to John, who will explain the new interface miners will use to join Huygens. Just very briefly, we need to get our slide control capabilities back. So if you could hold. Okay, John, if you would like to kick off.
Sure, great. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph, for that explanation. And before I start discussing the actual process of setting up a miner account and also exploring some of our new features, I want to reiterate, as Joseph said at the beginning of the presentation, that the visuals you see today are still kind of tentative in that they may not represent the final form that you're going to see once Huygens is rolled out. So just please keep that in mind. Nonetheless, this is still a great opportunity to discuss some of the exciting features that we have coming up. And so, yeah, let's jump into it. So the first step is obviously creating a miner account. So once Huygens goes live, we're going to have everyone set up a miner account. And this is pretty straightforward. You can go ahead and connect your Ale wallet account if you've set that up. If you haven't, you can go ahead and install that and set up a miner or set up an Ale wallet account and connect that to your new miner account. So setting up your wallet is the first step, and then connecting it to the miner account. All right. So at this stage, obviously not having set up a miner account yet, you're going to see an error notice, but that's okay. You can just go ahead and set up a miner account and then connect your wallet from there. All right. So at this point, you've entered an address for your miner account. You've begun to set up a miner account, and now I'll just briefly go through some of the features of a miner account, since this is sort of a new feature here. So a miner account is the primary account that you'll use for mining, and the wallet address connected to the miner account is able to receive all mining rewards, deposit and withdraw funds to and from the miner account, connect and disconnect machines. And you can also add and remove worker accounts. And worker accounts, as I will explore in just a moment, are a new feature here intended to make life a lot easier for miners who are dealing with lots of machines. For example, IDCs or large miners who may find that a little bit of help is convenient, and they can authorize worker accounts, and these worker accounts can help with managing the machines for the miner. All right. Okay, so as I've mentioned, worker accounts are totally optional. We don't expect individual miners to really find them necessary. But again, if you are an IDC or a large miner managing lots of machines, it may be very useful for you to set up worker accounts. But there's a particular difference between worker accounts and miner accounts in terms of what they are authorized to do that I think is really important and should be borne in mind by the miner. So a worker account is strictly a functional account. They're authorized to connect and disconnect machines on behalf of the miner, who is authorized to set them up. You can also remove them if you want. You can have up to 10 to help manage all of your machines. But the critical part of this, what a worker account is able and not able to do, is that the worker account does not have access to any of the funds or rewards associated with the miner account. So they can't receive mining rewards, and they can't deposit or withdraw funds to and from the miner account. So these two spheres are set totally apart in that, of course, the miner account and the worker account can help connect and disconnect machines and manage them in that way, but only the miner account is authorized to basically have to manage the funds associated with the account, including rewards and that sort of thing. All right. Okay, so at this point, you've hypothetically set up a worker account. Again, you don't have to do this. You may find it necessary or useful. You've also set up your miner account, and you've linked your wallet address to that miner account. And you've also entered your email contact. And it's very important that when you go about entering your email contact, you choose an email address that you check frequently so that any important notifications or updates regarding your account, regarding, for example, machines that are down, other errors, penalties, etc., will not go unnoticed and they won't get buried in your inbox. So remember to enter an email address that you're going to be able to stay abreast of new updates from. And we also highly recommend people to join our Discord. This is another excellent way for you to stay abreast of developments in a timely manner with respect to machines on your account, etc., other account information. And you can also use Discord to get in touch with the Computecoin team if you need any assistance or have any kind of questions, etc. All right. So at this point, you've created your account. And of course, as you may know, mining passes are essential to begin mining in the testnet. And so there are basically two ways that you can go about this at this point after having created your miner account. So the first way is you can go straight to the mining dashboard and you can go ahead and buy a mining pass there, or you can do it right here and you can go ahead and get started. And a mining pass, if you're not familiar with them, is basically an essential credential that you need to begin mining, as I've just mentioned. And what they do is they record the maximum amount of computing and storage power that each miner's account can provide. And the value of the mining pass will be used to buy back and burn CCN, which is a deflationary mechanism intended to increase the value of Computecoin tokens. Alrighty. Okay, great. So at this point, I'm going to hand it back to Joseph, who will be going more in depth.
John, thank you for explaining that, and everything is well said. Information was very detailed. So whoever hasn't created a wallet ever before, okay, and maybe new to the ecosystem, it is important to remember to back up your mnemonic recovery phrase and password. Computecoin cannot recover any lost funds due to the mismanagement of those. But on to the juicy part. So again, just to reiterate, some of the things that are being seen in these slides are still in development mode, and they could change and shift around a little bit. But when you log in and you do have that wallet created, the first thing that you're going to have to do, and your essential way of submitting meta power on our network, is purchasing a mining pass. So we will have a bridge to bridge your USDC and USDT to convert it into UCCN. UCCN is our stablecoin on our network, right? And we do have a calculator currently on our website. If you do wish to look and see the collateral required that your mining rig will produce. So there you'll enter your mining specifications. If you have a rig, you can enter a multiple number of CPUs and GPUs, or just a multiple number of GPUs, in which you'll get a collateral number. You could then calculate your total maximum meta power you will have, in which you'll get a rough estimate of the amount of meta power mining pass that you will have to produce, right? So we can see here we have a simple conversion ratio that 1 UCCN equals 30,000 meta powers, right? Most machines will produce KMPs. KMPs is a step above that MPs. And most GPUs, especially powerful ones, will produce those KMPs. And you will have to purchase that mining pass in order to have that on the network. As stated previously, right? The USDT and USDC used to purchase that UCCN, and the UCCN used to purchase your mining pass is used to buy back our CCN tokens, and then it is burned, okay, to create that deflationary measure. So when you purchase your mining pass, you have your second, well, now you're on your third step, and you are pretty much able to get started, which will go onto our mining dashboard. So the next couple of parts, I'll go over our two interfaces in which I'm very excited to share and present the new interface miners will be interacting with. Dome A was pretty simple. And there's a couple new functionalities that are added in our Huygens interface, which I am excited about. Some big changes that have been made. Suggestions are always welcome, so feel free to join our Discord. We do have a little suggestions category. And as a note, again, we're still in this development mode, and slides shown today are subject to change. So onto our dashboard interface 1. Just an account overview, right? So on our left, we could see some important categories, right? We have our account, machines, rewards, collateral marketplace, penalties, and messages, okay? A little bit different from Dome A. And we could see our mining pass in the bottom left and bottom right. If you need to purchase more, you could just click that buy more button, and it'll show how much meta power in out of what you have purchased in your mining pass, okay? But for today, we're not going to really worry about that because we just previously went over that. So in our account overview, we could see our wallet connected in the top right corner. And you will see your total balance. You'll see a couple of things here: your unlocked funds, your penalties, your credits, collateral, and locked rewards. Then you will also see the amount you have available for collateral. It's important to remember that little credits category is related to the Earlybird credits, okay? Anybody else who is transitioning funds over, you will just see that in your available balance from Dome A. But credits is specifically coming from our Earlybird program credits. In here, you will have the functionality to deposit CCN into your available balance or withdraw CCN from your available balance. And here you could post, well, not here, but you could see the amount of collateral that you have used in the available amount that you have to use for collateral. So cycling through some of the categories, we next move on to a brief management of our workers. So hypothetically, if we were to click our machines in the left, you would then move into a little simple overview here. But here just explains our worker accounts, and you'll see the worker address that they'll tie to, and you'll just see some details. But here is where you're going to add and delete your workers if you are in fact using your worker addresses. Some people won't, some people will. Big data centers and big IDCs will, and miners who have multiple mining rigs will use the worker accounts. Here's the place where you could see just the details of whether they're connected online, offline, any faulty things, and the amount of meta power that they are actually reporting to our network. So the juicy stuff is the mining options. This has been overviewed in previous webinars, and in CCN, Computecoin Network, we have two mining options. We have CCN Mini and CCN Pro. This visual, there we go. So this visual here, our option 1, which shows off our CCN Mini, and our option 2, which shows off our CCN Pro, shows a very powerful comparison of what the options are, right? So if you use our CCN Mini, you are able to continue mining whatever the existing rigs are mining. So let's say I have an existing rig mining Arweave, Chia, Swarm, or Crust. I'll still be able to earn those rewards while also earning CCN rewards. However, you'll see I will not be able to earn service fees from CCN end users, right? Why is that? Well, because my computing resources aren't being rented out like they are in CCN Pro. CCN Pro allows more functionality. You lose the ability to earn, right, mining rigs for or mining rewards from other networks. The reason is most of the computing resources are going towards CCN network, and you are now able to earn your service fees from CCN end users. Panning into our mining options, in the actual managed machines, when you click right below the accounts, you will see this very, very large overview. Okay, and here is where you could choose to connect, disconnect, which ones are online, which ones are offline. You will see the actual machine name that they are tied to, as we could see here, laptop, right? That machine ID here. And you will also be able to add more workers. Here, you could see the estimated meta power and the type of meta power this machine will be producing. We could also see here, right? You have the ability to remove. So say you're moving your miners or you're moving your machines and you would like to remove it to a different mining address. This is where you'll be able to do it. If you need to add more workers, you could do it here also. Panning into, say we click that little connect button. Once we click that connect button, you're going to see this simple interface here. You'll be able to see your machine type and you'll be able to select your compute type. But it's important to see there's going to be an estimated meta power, and as a miner, you're going to want to maximize on your rewards. So we could see here our GPU produces the most amount of estimated meta power. CPU is second, and unfortunately, there's not enough storage to produce any meta power on our storage, right? So in this case, a miner is going to select a GPU for our compute type, okay? And then you could fill out some other details. Now, if you are using CCN Pro, you would be able to set your price per hour in which your machine will be rented out. We could see this option grayed out here, but that's what it will look like in the, should look like based on the development. If we pan and click the next button after the information is filled out, we will then just see a simple overview before we connect. And here again, we will see that we could choose that compute type, right? In this case, we're going to choose GPU because GPU allows us to maximize on our rewards and commit the most amount of estimated meta power towards the network, right? More meta power, more rewards. That's what we want. More computing power, more rewards. It's important to remember that. So for our large data centers out there, this is a functionality that, that was asked for by our community, which is this batch connect, okay? And next we'll go over just the simple batch connect or disconnect and what it will look like. But what batch connecting does is, let's say you're a large miner, okay? And most of your mining rigs are the same. They're all built with the same GPUs, CPUs, and all have the same amount of storage, okay? There's not many functionalities you're gonna have to edit here. But in this little category, if you want to batch connect, you could very, very quickly select your compute type, select the amount select the time in which your machine will be connected to our network and in the price per hour. So you could just very quickly set that. You won't get into the nitty-gritty details that you see in our previous slides, right? And you could just select all the machines and connect them all at once, which is pretty powerful, especially if things are all similar and you don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of separate CPU core counts and those technical details. So this batch connect option has the duality of our batch disconnect, which is if you're a large miner and you're maybe moving locations, or you want to put your worker address into a different miner account, you're going to have to disconnect those rigs first. So here we could see if just by clicking that simple checkbox, you check all of your machines, in which you could then disconnect them if you click the disconnect button. Very nice functionality. Filing down. So we've gone over our account. We've gone over what the machines page will look like. We will now go over what the rewards page will look like. So in our rewards page, again, we could see our connected wallet, and we will see the rewards that we have earned historically over the past 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. So this just gives you a nice little simple visual, okay? And as you scroll down, which we will go down to, you will see your rewards history. So here we can see one of our machines, right? Or in total for this day, okay? Our GPU, CPU, and storage metapower rewards. And then all on the right, it equals to that total. Excuse the second line, there's a little bit of a typo there. But we could see here 120, 120, 120, it adds up to that 360, in which this machine for today was awarded that 360 CCN token for the computing power it did host and connect on the network. So very briefly, we have had a good amount of questions that were asked in our Discord recently, and a couple of miners in our Telegram asked of, well, what about domain miners, right? I was a domain miner, what about them? It is a great question. So on the release of Huygens, okay, you will be able to, via a bridge your assets over from Dome A, meaning your CCN tokens, from Dome A to Huygens. There you will then be able to initialize your machines using the new initialization setup, okay? And once those machines are initialized, you could use those Dome A CCN tokens, which are now Huygens tokens, for collateral. So that's what's going to happen with domain miners. You're going to have to reinitialize your machines, though. We have a new initialization process in which we will go into further detail, not today, but I'm sure in future webinars or in future videos. If there are any other technical questions, please feel free to join the Discord or ask in Telegram. So our Earlybird program. There has been a lot of hype around our Earlybird program, and a lot of people have started to apply. Some of those applications have been overviewed, and they have been starting to be approved. So this is just a simplistic overview very quickly of what you will see if you were approved for our Earlybird program. So the first thing that you will need is your Ale wallet address. You're going to give CCN Computecoin two things. You're going to give us your Ale wallet Huygens address, okay? And you are going to give us your MetaMask address. Well, you don't really have to give us your MetaMask address, but once you connect your Ale wallet, okay, you will be able to see the Earlybird credit that is available, right? It's not there yet because you haven't actually submitted your collateral to claim that credit, okay? So in this case, what you would do here is you would connect your MetaMask address and you would send your USDC or USDT over to our smart contract address, okay? And once you send that over to our smart contract address, you will then be credited the 50,000 CCN via your Huygens address. So it's a very simplistic overview. In the smart contract, you'll be able to view just so you know, obviously, that your USDT is locked in that smart contract. Once you complete those two steps, you will then have it pending. Once it's pending, you will then be able to claim that Earlybird credit via your Ale wallet. Once you have it claimed via your Ale wallet, you'll see those CCN tokens in your Ale wallet. You could see here now it's claimed, right? So now you could manage those early bird credits. You have two different things you could do with that. Once you have the early bird credit, you will see it in your account. So you could see here simply, this account has 50,000 CCN available, right, of early bird credit. 0 has been posted as collateral. It has 0 as an available balance. You may say, wait, that doesn't make any sense, but we'll get into further detail. It'll be available after the unlock time. Currently, we don't have that unlock time there, but come the actual deployment of this, you will see an unlock time. Cycling over to our post collateral. The first thing I want to say is it is important to note that any early bird credits that are transferred to mining accounts or mining addresses as collateral are final and irreversible. Okay. And what that means is you have a choice. If you have 50,000 CCN in 5 miner wallets, say you put 10,000 CCN for each miner wallet to use as collateral, right? To post as that collateral. That collateral that gets posted to those accounts is irreversible and it stays with those miner wallet addresses, okay? However, let's say you only have 4 miners, right, that could use as collateral. So you could only use 40,000 as that collateral and you have 10,000 left over. Well, that 10,000 will have to vest over a certain amount of time period, and then which it would be available for withdrawal, right? You would then see that in your available balance once that vesting unlock time is available. So whatever you don't use for posting collateral, you could kind of just keep sitting here until your vested time period is set up, and then which you could cycle on to our next tab, which is your withdrawal. So you could see here, you can transfer the remaining early bird credits to your Ale wallet address, not your mining address, just your typical Ale wallet address after the unlock date, but you'll only see those available after the time period. So let's go over a couple of brief things. We have our CCN Ambassador program. And our CCN Ambassador program, as mentioned before, if you're a graphical designer or if you're very active in your community and you want to promote CCN, please feel free to go on our website and learn about our CCN Ambassador program. Here, you could complete tasks. Those tasks then give you points, and then those points then award you in CCN tokens, right? So maybe you don't have enough money to purchase the CCN token or participate in our early bird credit, in which if you're not able to participate in our early bird credit, or you weren't able to participate in Domain, this is your shot to get some CCN tokens, and you could submit them to the collateral marketplace once that is fully functional and participate in that mining ecosystem, right? So our CCN ambassadors are highly valued. We're also starting to carve out a Discord channel for our, well, not a separate Discord channel, but some separate chats for our ambassadors to kind of chat and discourse together and spread some ideas. Thank you all for attending this webinar. Thank you, John, for speaking. And I hope you all have a great weekend. And I'm happy to have you back on our other webinars. So thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone. Cheers.